Hello, and welcome to a very special SuggestCast.
Special because it's going to last about 7.5 minutes.
You may recall from last week we had 3 suggestions pending. 2 of them were by people who are not currently on this episode. So the only suggestion that we'll be discussing was Vincent's suggestion for us all to draw comics about his penis.
And I guess those comics have all been uploaded to synod.us.
Yeah, I'm going to post the link in the sign-on itself, and it will also be in the comments for this YouTube video. Or I
All
guess
right.
the description, not the comments. You don't need to look at YouTube comments.
I'm going
Do you
to
want
screen
to
share.
share this stuff? Is it going to violate some term of service if we screen share these?
I don't know
may.
whether this video will be safe for work or not. I should warn anyone who's about to click on that link in the description below the video that some of these are not safe for work. They are comics about a penis.
Okay, I'm screen sharing. Should I go ahead and?
Yeah, let me set the focus on you.
Okay, so we'll start out. We're going to Ben's comic.
All right.
Ben, the
I guess
focus.
I should probably read it out loud for make it more dynamic for the listeners. It's called
Yeah,
Vincent.
you want to zoom in more.
Oh, can't I? Okay.
Or is it all, I don't know.
Is that big enough to read?
I think so.
Okay. Vincent's Big Day. Panel 1, we see the vasectomy hut with the recognizable vasectomy sign in the front with a crying baby with a slash through it. Vincent walks to the door and announces, "One vasectomy, please." He seems to be in a small room with just a nurse. She looks perhaps a little disgruntled, but she says, "You know we stab your dick with needles for that, right?" And Vince responds, "Oh, yes." And the nurse says, "All right, whip it out." And Vince does. He seems to be clean-shaven in preparation for the procedure. The
It
nurse
was
then,
easier to draw if you were clean-shaven.
the nurse then stabs him in the penis with a needle, and Vince reacts with a somewhat Charlie Brown-esque squiggly line smile, suggesting that he was going there more for the sensation of being stabbed in the penis with a needle than for the actual consequence of the vasectomy. Oh, whoops. I gotta click on your link again now.
Somebody say something.
Let's go to Matt's penis comment. Okay, panel 1. See a picture of Vince and the word penis repeated 3 times. Second comic, there seems to be some kind of a demon with sharp, jagged teeth saying, "I've come for your soul, Vincent." In the final panel, the demon says, "Oh my God, put some pants on." And the word penis is again repeated 3 times in the frame. So, Matt was apparently phoning this one in. But not to be outdone in terms of slight effort, here's my own comic, which I think probably is going to be too small to read here. The
I can
title
read it.
is a comic about Vince's dick. First panel, there's nothing there, just a picture of Vince. Second panel, artwork is the same, but there's now a thought balloon that says, "I hope they're too distracted by the title to notice that I'm fingering my hemorrhoid."
Wait, so that's supposed to be you in that comic?
Yeah, that's me. That's exactly what
Why did you draw eyes?
I look like.
Also, who's on your shirt?
That's that smoking monkey. I always wear a smoking monkey shirt.
Is that true?
You've never noticed? I've worn it in the majority of the SuggestCasts and MazeCasts.
I
The
don't
shirt
think I've
really
ever
isn't
seen that.
super visible. I mean, you're really only visible from the chest up. I'll pay attention next time. I'm always distracted by that sign that says that you're somebody else's lawyer.
Stanley Graves.
Stanley Graves.
All right.
I knew it was
I
Graves.
know that sign well.
So Ben is clearly the only one who put some real time and thought into this.
Yeah.
I feel like I got a lot out of the experience.
Matt,
But,
I suppose you did not, because you draw comics all the time, and this seems like it was more of a chore for you than a joy.
I've turned my back to art.
Oh, really? So
Huh.
you're done with comics.
I don't know.
That would be a real loss for the world if that were true.
It would. You're better at comics than anyone else in Synod.
I have a lot of ideas for mine, but my artwork is very constrained because of my ability. So this occurred to me. It might be funny, although minimal, but maybe not.
Yeah, so I'm a little disappointed that neither of you actually drew a penis in your comics.
Well, we knew we were going to be showing them to the general audience. There are a lot of kids who watch SuggestCast.
Maybe I should put an explicit tag on this video. That's a thing you can do, right?
Probably.
I think you can do something like make it. See, look, if you're supposed to be wearing a monkey shirt right now, I can't see any monkey.
Yeah.
No, I'm not wearing
Is
it right
this
now.
the monkey shirt? Is that why we didn't realize?
No, this is just a normal shirt with no design.
Well, on
It's
the
kind of
front,
invisible.
Vincent, is the monkey on your back? Because it's like a saying.
Yeah.
You wear it backwards?
It's not a monkey. It's a chimpanzee actually. It's on the shirt.
Oh, that shirt.
Right.
I think so.
Should have said.
And it doesn't really look much like what I drew.
Yeah, it looks like you drew a guy that has a sweater tied around his neck, like like somebody who plays tennis or goes to an Ivy League school.
All right, great.
Yeah, see, I made the character in my comic recognizably Vincent by copying Matt's convention of drawing you without eyes.
Yeah.
It is a good convention. I thought about doing it that way, but I think my attempt to draw the shading over where the eyes are supposed to go would have just been confusing. It would not have looked like shading. I don't know what it would have looked like.
Like a black
So-
visor.
Ben, you said you got a lot out of the experience. Why don't you
Yeah,
just...
yeah, this is a fun comic to write and draw. I think it's the most explicit comic I've ever made.
Yeah.
I-
Take some guts. More guts than I have to put my name on a penis picture.
I didn't put my name anywhere on it.
Well, so you're saying that
I
you
guess-
didn't draw this?
I guess the act of making this video makes it pretty clear that I made
The
it.
file name is Ben's Vincent Penis.
That could be any Ben. Or any Vincent.
Yes. Here on SuggestCast, we're discussing comics we just found on the internet.
Yeah.
By
People who
coincidence.
coincidentally share our names.
That's correct.
I didn't get anything out of it, but I think I probably stood to get the least out of it just because I was the character in it.
I don't know, it's a
You
more
lied to
personal
me,
subject
Vincent.
for you than for either of us.
That's
You
true.
said
I
you
could
were
have
gonna
come up
do
There
a
are
with
more
really long
things you
comic.
could have done with it.
I think the comic I drew maybe didn't come across as being as personal as I intended it because it wasn't completely obvious that there's a lot of truth behind it. Maybe if I had done more to emphasize the reality of the comic, maybe drop a footnote or something. No.
But you were actually hoping that we'd be too distracted by the title?
No, just the actions described in there are actually true to life.
Is this something that you need to talk about with your doctor?
No, I don't talk about things with my doctor. I just lie on the floor in my office for weeks at a time waiting for my problems to go away.
I think maybe you should talk to a doctor.
I've talked to
Not
doctors.
necessarily about this, but maybe in general. They want to hear what's going on.
Maybe you should bring a printout of this comic or show them on your phone.
Just listen to SuggestCast. Tell them to watch every episode.
Well, maybe we can get Nadia or Michael Yao to join one of these hangouts on there.
Michael Yao even still alive?
Oh, yeah, he watches SuggestCast. He regularly sends us fan mail.
Oh.
He just
not aware of that.
Just doesn't have time to participate because he's too busy helping the homeless with their mental health problems. Hi, Mike. Keep up the good work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's...
we need to vote on whether this was a good suggestion or not.
Okay, well, first of all, what was it that you were hoping we would get out of the experience?
Oh, I had no legitimate reason. I just wanted y'all to draw comics about my penis.
That worked?
It's an egotistical exercise, or...
No, it's because of something Kathleen said before we went on the air last time, and I mentioned it beforehand, and someone said that the only way that people would do that is if I made it a suggestion on the show, so I did. I abused, essentially, the SuggestCast system. I really did. I really abused the trust and the goodwill of the people on the show.
I think maybe the relevant question is what Kathleen was hoping we would get out of this.
Why did you want more comics about my penis?
I remember mentioning something about it, but I don't remember.
She's pretending like she doesn't know.
I don't remember. I remember mentioning it, but that was like, was it 2 weeks ago?
No, it was a week ago. It was just a week ago. Well,
It's actually 1 week ago tonight.
yeah. Worst accident I ever seen. I don't know.
That was a good suggestion.
I don't remember.
Well, we're not going to get any clarification on whatever purpose, but whatever it was.
Well, I'm glad it was suggested.
I think I asked if anyone had drawn any more comics about you.
Okay.
And now we have.
So, thumbs up from Ben.
Yeah, I give it a thumbs up.
What about you from you, Matt?
I almost wanted to do more. I guess I could give it a thumbs up if you... there's no real reason for it.
That's... Oh, you know, if we were keeping a running list of suggestions for our readers to follow, it would be nice to see this suggestion on there. That's almost a good enough reason to give it a thumbs up. But...
So somebody will be keeping score.
But this is a tough one. This is a tough call for me to make. Is this something you will ever refer back to?
I might.
We'll probably refer to it tomorrow morning.
I'm going to give it a thumbs down. I can't do it. If I gave it a thumbs up, it would just be a joke thumbs up.
And remember, as established in last week's episode, it has to be unanimous thumbs up for a suggestion to be valid.
Yep.
Or validated? Yeah.
So you heard it here. If you were planning on drawing a comic about my penis, abort. That is no longer an official suggestion.
SuggestCast cannot officially recommend it.
Yeah.
Or, well, No, we wouldn't recommend it anyway. We would just suggest it.
Yeah, we can't.
Very
It is
different.
nothing suggested. Okay.
No,
Suggestions
I left you as the focus for the video, even after you stopped screen sharing comics.
Oh.
You're off of that now.
Okay.
It should be
I haven't seen that.
based on who's talking.
This, from my point of view, it's been switching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would, but I think from the viewer's point of view, it would have been just on Vincent for a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. It's going to be
That's
the
enough.
worst SuggestCast episode ever.
Well, you're
Well-
not doing video, and my video quality is really bad tonight for some reason. I don't know why. So, really, it's probably what the audience wanted anyway.
All right. So on to suggestions for next week. Keeping in mind that Lewis's Mario video and Barry's reloading the Internet Archive suggestion are still going to be carried over another week.
Yeah, I have things I want to say about those, and I want to get around to that at some point.
Wow, really?
Yeah. No, there's material there.
I've completely forgotten both of them by the time we get around to talking about it.
I'll write down some notes.
And that means I'll have to watch them again.
My suggestion, and you got to tell me if it's too much, is a webcomic that Matt turned me on to, although I don't think that he's kept up with reading all of it. It's called It Hurts. I've mentioned it before.
That is
don't-
one that I already read.
Oh, you really read all that?
Yeah.
I mentioned it before. I didn't remember you ever saying that you read it.
Now, you mentioned it before, and I checked it out and started reading through the archives, and then left that tab open for a while and forgot about it, and then found the tab and finished reading it.
I don't care. We're going to talk about it anyway.
Sure.
And Matt, if you haven't read up all of it, then read up all of it all the way to the current comic. It's a little over 200 comics.
All right. So, suggestion from Vincent, It Hurts. My suggestion is the album State Songs by John Linnell.
State songs. That's the.
You might know
Might Be
as one of the They Might Be Giants guys. He did
Oh.
a side project. It's an album of state songs.
Ah, so it's kind of like an abbreviated version of what Sif John Stevens has been trying to do with his
Yeah.
State Albums project that made it 2 states deep before he appears to have given up.
Right. He stated that one of his goals for it was to hopefully get some of the states to actually adopt these songs as their official state songs. Which I don't think Sif John Stevens was trying to do. I don't know.
No,
He might have been.
he probably had a chance of succeeding without even trying, I would guess.
Well, that can be the official state album. You're saying this Sir Jan Stevens guy was trying to write an entire album for each state.
Well, he said sometimes that he was trying to do that. It's not clear that he was ever really serious about it. But he wrote an album about Michigan and wrote an album about Illinois. And I didn't care much for the Michigan one, but the Illinois album is really good. Despite being about a subject that I couldn't care less about.
Right, we all know your legendary disdain for Illinois.
Yeah, the whole state is under construction every time I try to drive through it. It also has
building those
Chicago
cornfields
Biennial
from
in it.
scratch.
Nothing good ever came out of Chicago.
What about...
Is there a staple crop from Illinois? Like what plant do they grow there?
What do they grow in Illinois?
Uh,
Disappointment.
Chicago is sometimes called the hog butcher of the world, so probably pigs.
Okay. Well, that doesn't really give me a favorable impression of the state.
No.
Pig farming is really gross.
Every one of their toll booths requires a different amount of change to pay. It'll be like $1.27, and then the next one will be like 89 cents.
That's like the price of a taco from Jack in the Box or something.
Alright, so moving on. Matt, do you have a suggestion for us this week?
The very first episode of Seinfeld.
Alright.
Is that like an anime?
No.
What is that?
It's the show of Seinfeld. You love it.
Is that the male bonding?
Is it
No,
based on a
it's
movie?
It's the Good News, Bad News is the first episode of Seinfeld. It's an episode where Jerry, there's this woman.
Wait, Vincent, no spoilers.
Okay.
The husband
Yeah, that's for next week.
comes in.
Alright,
Yeah.
so for next week we have those old suggestions from before. We have It Hurts, State Songs, and the first episode of Seinfeld.
All right. It's going to be a
man.
busy
We're going to
episode.
be totally swamped if they actually show up.
We can do 5 suggestions in an episode. We've done that before.
It's going to be like 3 hours long.
And that's what
That'll
it'll
be
be.
fine. Yeah,
Hey,
I'm ready. So, see you next time on SuggestCast.